What would you say is the main difference between PSC and GFE? Like in terms of like service and stuff and the experience?
We're putting the fantasy in the client's mind of a far more sexually charged, like I'm going to have a wild sort of all bets are off experience. Although, in my experience, plenty of clients book this and then they get in the room and they're super vanilla, like, but they just have a
Yeah,
fantasy about it in their minds, and the visual kind of paints that, as opposed to GFE, which is um, more about the girl that I had a crush on in school, girl next door. I'm not expecting anything wild sexually, although the sex is still a part of it. But you don't look at this girl and you're not automatically thinking of like wild sexual stuff. She doesn't paint that picture. She looks more like your American Pie sweetheart.
okay. Yeah.
Does that answer the question?
Um, mm, yeah, I mean, no, I mean, the question is more about like in terms of like in the booking, like if you were a guy, like how how would you differentiate between a PSE and a GFE, like in the booking?
Every client varies, but I'd say to
Yeah,
generalize, the
yeah,
general client is going to be looking for an authentic, real
yeah.
feeling, passionate, exciting, satisfying, mutual sexual interaction. Whereas with the
Mm,
PSC, he might walk in with expectations of things being raunchier, wilder. But like I said, I've had plenty of PSC bookings where the
yeah,
clients, even talk before they get there. They're like, they're
yeah,
going to do all this stuff. And then they actually get in the room with me and they don't do anything. Like the fantasy in their mind is actually enough. So that's why I don't always say, oh, yeah, if you're a PSC escort, you're going to get all these PSC bookings where you're doing more, where you're expected to do more sexualized
yeah,
stuff, because it's
yeah.
not always true. But you certainly will get more of those sorts of bookings if you had a profile like this versus the GFE profile.
Because when I kind of do like a mixture. So there's some that just want the GFE kind of slow stuff, and then there's some that are more like PSE and they want to like, I don't know, like do a role play or be like kinky, and I'm fine with that as well.
Mm.
Yeah, but what I mean is, I don't know, like, do you think PSE means like going at it like for the whole time, like, or am I thinking about it in the wrong way?
If you sold a PSE experience, there are
Yeah,
going to be some clients who expect that. But to be honest, I've had that even as a GFE escort. I've had,
yeah,
the odd client come in the room. But if you had a profile like this and you were selling a PSE experience, because not the photos are the biggest part, but then also everything else with the profile reinforces the message. So if you had
yeah,
a profile that looked like this, and then your
yeah.
bio was more sexualized, your offering was more sexualized, you're definitely going to get more clients coming into the room and having a more physical service than you would a GFE profile for sure.
Yeah, because the thing is, I don't mind, but it needs to be like I prefer that someone that wants a GFE books a GFE instead of coming for a GFE and wanting like a PSE experience, because I think sometimes in their mind things get a bit blurred. I don't know if I'm meant to like let them know like beforehand that this is what it is, but I find that's happening sometimes with quite a bit.
Do you utilize at all a split service with, or do you just have one rate and it's kind of whatever they want to do slash whatever you're comfortable doing?
Well, one I have one main rate, but on another section I have like more like kinky things and they're meant to pay extra for it, but sometimes um they're into it and it actually depending on what it is, it actually just kind of I don't know, I just sometimes don't end up charging them because it just starts to happen and we're in the middle of it, so boundaries kind of get blurred.
Mm.
Yeah.
So for you've got extras. Sometimes you'll charge for them, other times you haven't, and then you're in the room and they just kind of happen because it's kind of awkward by that point to be like, hey, you need to give me more money. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not like extras I mean, relating to like oral or anything, but it's more about like kink and stuff like that.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
I'm going to send you something after this. What I recommend you consider, they don't have it a lot in London, but don't worry about it because it's the same in America. And I do it with all my American girls, and it makes them. You can even check out a post that a girl made recently called she made $7,000 more in 1 week from just this one technique. I
yeah,
basically have an upsell strategy. So for every profile that I do, usually we will have a kind of like standard rate, and then we will have an upsell offer. And we will call them different things based on the specific provider. Something you might consider doing with your profile that you could do like as soon as you wanted to is you could have your GFE experience or your standard experience, and then rather than selling like additional extras, make it more like a package offering, like your deluxe GFE or your naughty GFE, or even just call it your Pornstar experience and upsell the client before they get there. Um, and that way you don't have to deal with that stuff in the room. And you'll find that a lot of clients will choose that option and you can just make more per booking. So if your hourly rate right now is 300, you could make your PSE
yeah,
option 400, all inclusive of
yeah.
everything that you offer. And you'll find that clients will upsell quite frequently.
Okay.
If you want to learn more escorting tips, just click the link below this video.